China's premier has called for countries to oppose decoupling from the Chinese economy, hitting back at accusations from the US and the European Union that Chinese firms benefit from unfair subsidies and are flooding their markets with cheap green technologies. Li Qiang was speaking at the Summer Davos in Dalian, the second largest meeting of the World Economic Forum. Si Hui with this report.
Offering his thoughts on the next frontiers for growth, the theme of the World Economic Forum meetings in China this year, Chinese Premier Li Qiang said slowing global growth is to blame for the growing rivalries between countries and companies in many industries in the world.
At the macro level, we would see a slowdown of economic growth and find it more difficult to make the pie of global economy bigger. At the meso level, we would see declining return on investment and diminishing returns to scale. At the micro level, we would see intensifying competition among market players and spiraling involution, a word created and popular in China. The neck-to-neck contest for available resources is to some extent triggering problems including backlash against globalization and escalation of geopolitical conflicts in some places in the world.
But exploring new frontiers should not be a zero-sum game, China's number 2 leader said.
Confronted with the growth predicament of the world economy, maximizing one's own benefits at the expense of others' interests, or even resorting to regressive actions of decoupling, disrupting supply chains, and building small yards with high fences would only push up operational costs, sever the economic links between regions, and aggravate tensions and disputes.
In the half-hour-long speech, Mr. Li also defended China's new energy industry amid accusations from EU and US policymakers that China has flooded their markets with heavily subsidized products such as electric vehicles.
The advanced electric vehicles, lithium batteries, and PV products made by Chinese companies have not only met domestic demand, but also enriched supply in the international market.
It's the second time Mr. Li addressed the Summer Davos since taking office in March 2023. The Chinese leader has been on a charm offensive at home and overseas and aims to win back wary investors. The 64-year-old just recently concluded a series of high-level visits to Australia and Malaysia, where he urged greater economic cooperation. China is continuing its post-pandemic economic recovery with growth targets set at around 5% this year. While the economy has grown faster than expected in the first quarter at 5.3%, foreign direct investment continues to slump for the 12th straight month. Mr. Li said China is confident and capable of achieving the full-year economic growth target of around 5%. The assurance comes a week before a delayed third plenum, where the economy is typically in focus, and as China is trying to fend off another potential tariff war with the EU, which is preparing to impose tariffs of up to 38% on its EVs. Si Hui, CNA, Dalian.
Apart from trade tensions between China and the West, discussions in Dalian also focused on the energy transition and geopolitical tensions. CNA's Olivia Xiong and Si Hui tell us more.
One of the things that has been framing the discussions here today have been the uncertainties that are common to countries across a whole range of issues, including at one of the panels that I moderated earlier this morning on the global energy transition. Now, according to a report released by the World Economic Forum, which benchmarked over 100 countries on their energy system performance, it did find that, yes, overall there has been progress made on the energy transition globally, but one worrying finding perhaps is that the pace and the momentum of this energy transition has actually slowed. And so one of the panelists was the founder and chairman of Chinese EV giant Chinese EV battery giant, CATL, Robin Zeng, and he gave his perspective on how to have a more global collaborative approach in tackling some of the challenges that we have seen in driving forward this energy transition. Have a listen.
I made some adjustment already, so that's why when I discuss with all the people here, partners, I say, hey guys, don't be too greedy. Try to get everything 100% by every different nations. We cannot have 300%, right? Then in the 100% we do the 40%, 30%, 30%. Maybe a little bit adjustment. Some 20, some 25, doesn't matter. Share. And also, we're willing to share our technology to each one in the world. For example, battery makers in Europe, battery makers in Korea, battery makers in US. We're willing to talk to them, say, even battery makers, we can license this technology to you. We can help you to build this industry there. Because climate change and sustainability is so important for each and everyone here, because we cannot living for a long life, or maybe forever. So everyone here, for example, I'm 50-some years old already. So I have maybe 30 years to go. 30 years times 365, maybe 10,000 days only. 20,000 days, even you're longer, right? But you put the book here, you peel the one today gone. So what's the money for? Yeah. You have better to really do something meaningful for your life.
So Olivia, you moderated a panel earlier today. I think the question about money keeps coming up. Right. The cost of energy transition seems to be coming up to the trillions. So it seems like there's still the issue about the investment gap.
That's right. I mean, green financing is a big topic, and we do know also that what's affecting the energy transition and also those geopolitical tensions, economic volatility, trade barriers that we have seen. But with regard to green financing, there is a gap between the advanced economies and the emerging economies. And I posed that question on what tools are needed to bridge that gap to one of my panelists. Have a listen. One of the other things we have seen is that global clean energy investment has gone up by 40% since 2020. However, this has been primarily concentrated in the advanced economies. So in your opinion, what sort of tools are needed to bridge this gap?
I agree with the report, which have a lot of informative results on the very unbalanced of investment and everything. But one thing we want to see is investment follows market, policy stability, productivity, effectiveness. So somehow investment is a result of this globalized division of labor. Having said that, I still think it's very important, as you said, to improve this unevenness. What are the tools? First and foremost, as Paul mentioned, is the global collaboration. Still very, very important to drive the cost, which thanks to all of you, the R&D investment have driven down the clean energy technology cost for over 90% in the past decades. However, it's still not affordable enough to a lot of global South countries' citizens.